All right, Honors Algebra 2, welcome to a quick video here over your 6-1 to 6-4 possibly open notes quiz. All right, again, you guys will earn that. As of this video, you have 1.5 more days till I am back with you. All right, Elsie Mae is currently sleeping because that's what she does for 70% of the day. So 1 through 6, given those three functions, just find the sum of f of x and h of x. There it is. Difference, f of x minus g of x. Make sure to put parentheses around all of g of x so you don't make a sign error. H of x times, g of x times h of x. Okay, I just did that quick. And then here's the answer for 5. Do f of x times g of x. So that's not an answer. That's how you set it up. Then just do first out or enter last. Okay, identify the domain and range of each function. Remember, you can take the square root of 0. You can't have the square root of a negative, though. So you set what's inside the square root equal to 0. X can be any number that's -8 or greater. We have not talked about this in person yet, so we will do that. The range, again, when this is the square root of 0, it's 0 plus 4. 4 is the smallest y value you will have. There you go on 8. There's the answer there. Okay, on 9, this is going to make the upside down one, so actually that's not going to change anything with the domain. -9 is still the smallest x value. It's just that 19 is the largest y value because it's going to keep going south. And on 10, 16 would actually, made a mistake there, 16 would be the highest y value or x value you can have. It's got to be 16 or less. Okay, and again, this is just going to keep getting bigger, so 14 is the smallest y value. All right, this looks very, very similar to your quiz, FYI. Composition of functions. There's f of x, g of x, h of x. First you do g of -1, it's 3, then you plug 3 into the outer function, which is f of x. There you go. These are pretty self-explanatory. We talked about these before I left. Do g of 3, then plug that into h. Find h of 23. H of -2 is 20. Plug 20 into the g function there. All right, moving on. H of -3. Plug -3 into h. Then what your answer is 26. Plug that into h. G of h of x, write what h of x is. Then you're going to plug this in for x in g's equation. So g of x is 5x plus 8. Instead of putting in a number like 4, -2, you literally plug in 8 minus 6x, multiply it by 5, add 8. Boom, there you go. All right. Find the inverse of each function. First off, f of x, same thing as y. Y equals 5x plus 8. Then you switch x and y. X equals 5y plus 8. This is another thing we need to go over in person for the first time. And then you just solve for y. All right, so again, by the time you are actually looking at this to do this and get answers, you should know what we're doing. 23 is kind of a silly question. Divide everything by 2 first, then switch x and y. Put this over 1, cross multiply, add 3 to both sides, divide by 4 to figure out what y is. Again, your equation didn't begin with y, it was f of x, so the inverse is f inverse of x is that. All right, we're getting to some higher level math. Okay, switch x and y. Now you're taking the square roots, so that's why we have the plus or minus. Okay, so it doesn't have exactly just one inverse. All right, there. So it fails the horizontal line test we'll talk about. All right, so that one inverse it doesn't have. That whole plus or minus makes it a little interesting. We'll talk about it again in person. All right, there's the answer for 27. Again, right now, Thursday or Friday of this week, just using this to check some of the answers that you can do. You probably can't do all of this yet, and that's no big deal. The little 2 on the outside, taking the square root, dividing the exponents by 2. Dividing the exponents by 3, taking the cubed root. Taking the 4th root, dividing the exponents by 4. All right, and then this is just going to carry it to the end. Pause this whenever you need to. All right. There we go on 34. And there's 35 and 36. Okay. There you're just dividing the exponent by 3 there. So you have that expression 3x plus 7 now to the 5th, because there are 5 triplets in that 15. All right, folks, this is your 6-1 to 6-4 quiz review video. Yak Math Video signing out.